A 25,000 European superbike that leaves you stranded versus a $10,000 Japanese machine that runs forever? Who wins? What if I told you that Japanese bikes aren't just better, they're wiping the floor with European bikes in every way that actually matters? Let's start with something that matters too much: reliability. When you buy a bike, you want to ride it, not spend your weekends fixing it or wondering if it'll start on Monday. And this is where Japanese bikes shine. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki have built a reputation for making bikes that just keep going, year after year, mile after mile. Meanwhile, European brands like Ducati, KTM, and even BMW, they're exciting, sure. Fast, stylish, packed with high-tech features, but let's be real, they can also be a bit moody. More breakdowns, more quirks, and definitely more expensive repairs. And this isn't just talk. Consumer Reports found that Japanese bikes had far fewer issues, with problem rates in brands like Honda and Yamaha as low as 11 to 12% in the first 4 years, while Ducati and BMW had failure rates of 33 to 40%. A massive difference. KTM wasn't much better. Plus, when those European bikes do break, your wallet's going to feel it. Japanese manufacturers focus on durability first, while European brands often prioritize performance and cutting-edge tech, sometimes at the cost of long-term reliability. So, if you want a bike that's always ready to roll and won't leave you stranded when you least expect it, a Japanese bike is the smarter choice. Now, let's talk about something every rider dreads: waiting for parts. Imagine you're out riding, having a great day, and then, oops, you need a replacement part, maybe a radiator. If you're on a Yamaha R1, no problem. Your local shop probably has it in stock, and you're back on the road in no time. But if you're riding something like a BMW S1000RR, well, better get comfortable, because you might be waiting weeks, maybe even months, for that part to arrive. Japanese brands like Honda, Yamaha, and Suzuki have massive global networks, making parts easy to find no matter where you are. Their bikes are built in huge numbers, and their supply chains are dialed in. Meanwhile, European brands, not so much. Need a fairing for your Aprilia RSV4? Get ready to wait. A sensor for your Ducati? That might have to be shipped all the way from Italy. Even BMW, despite being a major brand, sometimes struggles with slow and complicated parts delivery. Bottom line, when something breaks on a Japanese bike, you fix it fast and keep riding. With a European bike, you might be spending more time waiting than riding. If you actually want to be on the road instead of stuck in the garage, Japanese bikes win, hands down. Let's talk money, because nobody likes spending more than they have to. Owning a European bike, it's like dating a supermodel. Looks amazing, but high maintenance. Specialized tools, premium oils, and overpriced servicing. Ducati's desmodromic valve system, fancy name, brutal repair bills. And KTM's high-performance machines, they're powerful, but can wear out faster, needing more work over time. Meanwhile, Japanese bikes are the definition of low maintenance. A Honda CBR 600RR can easily hit 100,000 miles with just basic oil changes. Yamaha's MT series, built to last with minimal fuss. And when something does need fixing, Japanese bikes don't demand specialized high-priced mechanics. Any good shop can handle them, saving you a ton on labor costs. Bottom line, if you want a bike that won't drain your wallet with constant repairs and expensive service bills, a Japanese bike is the way to go. Your bank account will thank you. European bikes might look cooler, but what if I told you that they lose money faster than a stock market crash? Here's another point to worry about: resale value. Because nobody wants to take a huge loss when selling their bike. European motorcycles, while exciting to own, tend to lose their value faster than their Japanese counterparts. Why? Simple. Buyers know they often come with higher maintenance costs and potential reliability issues, making them a riskier purchase in the used market. Take a Ducati Panigale, for example. After 5 years, if maintained properly, it might be worth 50 to 60% of what you paid, sometimes even less. Meanwhile, a Honda CBR or a Kawasaki Ninja from the same year will generally hold its value much better. And this isn't just random luck. Marketing trends consistently show that Japanese bikes retain a higher percentage of their original price, making them easier to sell when the time comes. If you're thinking of a European bike as an investment, you might want to reconsider. Unless it's a rare collector's edition, its value will likely drop fast. So, if you want to keep your options open for an upgrade or a trade-in down the road, a Japanese bike is the smarter choice. You'll get more of your money back when it's time to move on. People say European bikes are better for racing, but what if I told you that's mostly marketing hype? European bikes have this reputation for being the pinnacle of high performance, packed with cutting-edge tech and race-inspired engineering. And sure, if you're a professional racer on a closed track, those extra fractions of a second might make a difference. But for everyday riders, not so much. Let's be real, most of us aren't pushing our bikes to their absolute limits on city streets or highways. That's where Japanese bikes shine. They're designed for real-world riding, with smoother power delivery, better comfort, and fewer overheating issues, especially when you're stuck in traffic. Ever been caught in a summer heat on a European sport bike? Feels like your legs are roasting over an open flame. And it's not just sport bikes. Adventure riders will tell you that bikes like the Honda Africa Twin or Yamaha Tenere 700 are far more practical and reliable than their European counterparts, which can sometimes be temperamental with electronics and complex mechanics. Unless you're a pro-level racer, a lot of that superior performance talk is more marketing than real-world advantage. When it comes to practical everyday riding, Japanese bikes are often the smarter, more enjoyable choice. European bikes are often designed with a specific kind of rider in mind, someone with plenty of experience, extra cash to spend, and a willingness to deal with a bike that might need more attention. Japanese brands, on the other hand, focus on making bikes for everyone. Need a super reliable daily commuter? Honda's got you covered. Want a fun weekend ride? Yamaha has plenty of sporty options. Just starting out? Kawasaki makes some of the best beginner-friendly bikes. No matter your skill level or budget, there's probably a Japanese bike that fits your needs. European brands tend to be more niche. Ducati and KTM mostly target hardcore enthusiasts looking for high-performance machines. BMW adventure bikes are incredibly capable, but they're also complex and pricey, which can be a turnoff for casual riders. Even Aprilia leans more toward track-focused bikes rather than everyday usability. And let's talk about seat height. European bikes, especially adventure models, are often tall. If you're not on the taller side, handling some KTM or BMW bikes can feel like trying to mount a horse that's way too big. Japanese brands generally do a better job making bikes that are easy to manage for more people. At the end of the day, Japanese bikes are built for a wider audience, while European bikes tend to cater to a smaller, more specialized crowd. Japanese motorcycle engineers understand a simple truth. The more complicated a bike is, the more things can go wrong. That's why they focus on making their bikes practical, reliable, and easy to use, instead of stuffing them with flashy tech that sounds great on paper but can be a headache in the real world. Take electronics, for example. European brands love to pack their bikes with high-tech features, adaptive suspension, radar cruise control, endless riding modes. Cool? Sure. But more electronics also mean more chances for something to break. KTM and BMW, for instance, have a bit of a reputation for random electrical issues that can leave riders stranded. Japanese brands take a different approach. They add technology only when it truly improves the riding experience and keeps reliability intact. Honda's DCT automatic transmission is a great example. It makes riding easier without sacrificing durability. Yamaha's CP3 engine in bikes like the MT-09 is another. It's powerful, simple, and rock solid. Even Kawasaki's supercharged Ninja H2, one of the most extreme bikes out there, manages to be more reliable than some European counterparts. Japanese brands focus on the tried-and-true performance, while European brands sometimes prioritize innovation, even if it means adding complexity that might not hold up as well over time. Now, here's a point that's often overlooked in bike comparisons. Fuel efficiency isn't the first thing people talk about when comparing bikes, but it matters, especially for everyday riders and long-distance touring. And here's the thing, Japanese bikes are generally much more fuel efficient than European ones. Japanese engines are designed to get the most out of every drop of gas without sacrificing performance or durability. That means fewer stops at the pump and more money in your pocket. Take the Yamaha MT-07, which gets around 55 to 60 miles per gallon, while a Ducati Monster 797 with a slightly bigger engine struggles to hit 40 miles per gallon. Even Honda's CBR 500R can push 70 miles per gallon, while a KTM RC390 hovers around 45 to 50. Even in high-performance sport bikes, Japanese models tend to sip fuel more efficiently than their European rivals. It's no accident. Japanese brands focus on real-world practicality, making their bikes a smart choice if you want to ride longer and spend less on gas. Wait a minute, Let's just take a step back and look at everything we've covered so far. Japanese bikes are more reliable. They're more affordable to maintain and repair. They hold their value better over time. They're designed to be user-friendly for a broader range of riders. They incorporate simpler and more dependable engineering, and they're significantly more fuel efficient. It's starting to sound almost like European bikes are just worse across the board. But what about when things get a little unexpected? Are Japanese bikes also tougher and more forgiving if you happen to have a little mishap on the road? Let's see if they can also prove to be more resilient when things don't go perfectly as planned. Let's be real. Every rider drops their bike at some point, whether it's a parking lot tip over or a slow slide on gravel. So what actually happens when you drop a bike? If you drop a Honda CBR 500R, you'll probably end up with some scratches, maybe a broken mirror, but nothing too serious. Now, drop a Ducati Panigale? It's a different story. You could be looking at thousands in damages, from cracked carbon fiber to bent levers or even electrical issues. That's because high-end European bikes use lightweight but fragile and expensive materials that don't handle crashes well. Even naked bikes like the BMW R9T have premium parts that cost a fortune to replace. Japanese bikes, on the other hand, are built with real-world durability in mind. Their plastics are more flexible, engine covers more robust, and replacement parts much cheaper. And if you're riding off-road, dropping a Honda Africa Twin might mean a scratched crash bar. Drop a BMW R1250 GS, and you could crack a cylinder head or damage electronics. Costly mistakes. If you actually ride in different conditions and don't want to stress over every little scratch, a Japanese bike just makes more sense. Less worry, more riding. Let's talk about speed and performance one last time, to really put things in perspective. Many people automatically assume that European bikes must be inherently faster and better performing, mainly because they see them achieving victories in professional motorcycle racing series like MotoGP and World Superbike. And while it's true that European bikes often excel in those top-tier racing events, that represents a very specialized and extremely demanding competitive environment. For the vast majority of us, in the real world of everyday riding, Japanese bikes frequently offer a superior real-world speed and overall usability. Think again about sport bikes for a moment. A high-end European sport bike like a Ducati Panigale V4 unquestionably boasts incredible peak horsepower and acceleration figures. But to truly harness all of that extreme power and extract maximum performance, you need to be an exceptionally skilled rider with extensive track experience and razor-sharp reflexes. A Japanese sport bike like a Yamaha R1 or a Suzuki GSX-R 1000, while perhaps not possessing quite the absolute peak power numbers of the most exotic European machines, is often far more forgiving, more predictable, and easier to ride fast consistently for a wider range of riders. What this often translates to is that on a twisty back road, a typical, skilled but not professional rider will often actually be faster and more confident on the Japanese bike, simply because they're not constantly wrestling against the bike's ultra-aggressive nature and demanding riding dynamics. The same principle often holds true when comparing naked bikes as well. A Japanese naked bike like a Yamaha MT-09 is celebrated for its torquey, responsive engine, smooth power delivery, and overall user-friendly nature, making it incredibly easy to push hard and ride aggressively right out of the box. A European naked bike like a KTM 890 Duke R, while it might appear slightly faster on paper in terms of raw specifications, can sometimes feel a bit more high-strung, demanding more rider input and concentration to maintain smooth and controlled progress. And even when we consider adventure bikes and off-road capabilities, a Japanese adventure bike like the Honda Africa Twin is often praised for being more manageable and confidence-inspiring in challenging off-road conditions than a heavier, more complex, and more top-heavy BMW GS, primarily because it's less reliant on intricate electronics and offers a more intuitive and predictable riding experience. So, while European bikes are more often meticulously engineered and optimized to achieve the absolute pinnacle of performance in highly specialized, track-focused scenarios, Japanese bikes tend to prioritize real-world speed, everyday usability, and overall rider friendliness. And that ultimately means that for most motorcycle riders, in most typical riding situations, you will often find yourself going faster, feeling more confident, and having more fun on a well-sorted Japanese machine. So after all this, are European bikes just overpriced hype? Or is there a reason some riders swear by them? Let's hear it. Drop your take in the comments. And if you love real talk on motorcycles, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started.